We're live. We're live. We're live. Oh my goodness. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Elizabeth Walker, producer and host of the Dear Business Coach podcast. And you are in the right place if you are looking to listen to me talk live for a few minutes, called the Producer's Notes Live with Elizabeth Walker. And what Producer's Notes? Of course, I'm talking about the Dear Business Coach podcast and all of the journeys as a producer and host around the podcast each week. So if you are listening right now, you are exclusively listening on Substack, because I can tell you that because there is only one place I am broadcasting right now, and that's right here to you on Substack. Aurelius, hello, hello, thank you, thank you. And good morning to you. Well, I used to do segments on social media live that were centered around topics. I used to give talks that were entitled Podcasting for Young Women Leaders Who Speak and Podcasting for Executives and Team Leaders Who Speak. Now, those segments are not part of this live segment currently. However, they are available as exclusive content when you're a free email subscriber on the Dear Business Coach podcast homepage. Now, if you're a subscriber or a follower here on Substack, then what that means is when you submit your email address and subscribe to me here, you'll actually get a welcome note in your box that says, also go check out all the great stuff that's over there on the homepage. And that's why we stay connected in both places. So what's going on this week on the show? Well, I added a top 5 quote sheet also as a freebie. So also you should know, when you're out there in the big world and you see the Dear Business Coach podcast social ads this week. Actually, it started last night. You'll see the ads rolling on reels and videos and posts for the free top 5 quote sheet. It's a quote sheet I put together of 5 cool, interesting, and different quotes than you might expect that I picked out of 5 different interviews that were from this year, not necessarily the exact past 5 episodes. So that was a tip from my coach and friend, Scott Perry, who suggested, hey, why don't you put together a quote sheet for your email subscribers? Because I'm always looking for the things that I can give to you as freebies and fun things when you are a listener. So, that's part of why I do the producer's notes. I want you to get to know me a little bit, hopefully. And also, I want you to hear some details about what are the things that I'm working on in the background that are supposed to be fun and free gifts and cool things for you to look at and experience from the podcast interviews. So we just had last week we talked about Chris Fothrop. Chris Fothrop is actually a neighbor of mine here in Southwest Virginia. And by neighbor, I mean, I don't know where he lives, but I know that he lives in the same county that I do and lives in the same town that I do. So that was cool. We actually met as business group friends going to a roundtable discussion hosted here in Floyd. And that was also a Scott Perry event. Okay, let's take a sip of coffee here. I'm going to take a little short break. Okay, and you know what's interesting is I think that when you come to these live audios at 8:30, for me it's 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. For you, you can be anywhere in the world and listen to this. Oh yeah, let me also tell you that the producer's notes sometimes end up as episodes that go on to the show as bonuses. I've only actually done that twice. So it is actually really cool for you and for me if we're here live together. So thank you for being here, because I might tell you some things here today live that I don't share on the podcast and that don't get published on the regular episode feed. So you might like to know that. So Chris Fothrop, his episode was week before last, and the title of his episode was called "The Pine Cone Principle." And I don't know if I talked about this last week or not, but the Pine Cone Principle. That title actually came up because I made that up, or rather, um, my AI tool made that up. I actually use a couple of different AI tools to get summaries and to pull quotes and to do things like that for the technical things of bringing you transcripts and finding timestamps in the show and things like that. So that's what I do is I use my tool to create the summaries and some of the other cool stuff that comes out of the transcripts from the interviews. So I have a question for you. Have you, listener, been on a podcast, or would you like to be on a podcast? I'd like to hear some of your work if you're out here networking, because after all, that's what podcasting is for. For a lot of us is networking. Now, the Dear Business Coach podcast is a traditional show. So what I'm doing is actually building in advertisers to bring deals to you as the listener. So the goal here is to give you special deals that you may not be able to get everywhere else. For example, my new affiliate partner, NordVPN, they are an award-winning VPN service. And they also do the malware protection as well and antivirus protection. So this is a security for your devices, your tablets, your laptop, your cell phone, your computers. And the affiliate partner NordVPN is partnered with me and the Dear Business Coach podcast. So they have provided me with a specific link that I can give to you for you to get the deal. And so the way that works is if you go to dearbusinesscoachpodcast.com/deals, and I mean deals like a retail deal, or like a deal when I'm going shopping, I'm getting a discount, a deal. That's DEALS, deals. So on the Dear Business Coach podcast website, there's a deals page. Now, as an email subscriber, I give you the links to these places in your email. And so the goal there is to make it easy for you and to give you the deal that I can offer you as an affiliate with NordVPN. So another kind of funny topic that I was interested in bringing up with you is, how do you feel about this idea of podcast hosts being influencers? Because this is the world that I am kind of looking at right now, where I'm finding out that as an independently produced podcast owner, producer, and host, let's see, let me take a sip of coffee here. I I actually have the opportunity to sign up for affiliate links as an individual, right? This is something you can do too. So this is something you can do too. Amazon is one of them. So I actually have an affiliate partnership set up with Amazon too. And right now on the Dear Business Coach podcast website, the ad for that said, it's a graphic that shows the Dear Business Coach podcast logo, and then next to it in white bold text says Amazon Audible or Audible affiliate, because I chose to create a link to the Audible service that Amazon provides. Since I'm a podcast, and I assume that you might enjoy seeing ads and offers for services that might be related to you because you already enjoy listening to podcasts. And that's the reaction that I have gotten from several of my friends and family. Excuse me. I'm pausing here because I need to burp and I can't. Oh, how rude. Hey, this is live, and that's part of why we do this live. So, yeah, I'm drinking coffee and maybe talking a little too fast. But actually, when I listen back to these recordings, as I do, um, I don't think I think I could talk a little bit faster because I'm from the South in the United States, and I have a slow draw to my speech anyway, just because of my Southern accent. So that's okay if you don't mind. I'm getting over it. But um, do you know what? One of the women that I interviewed recently, Kirsten Graham, she told me in her interview that she processes information, I think, a little quicker than other people present. And so she says that when she listens to podcasts and videos and things, that she speeds it up the time. So she's actually listening to the content at like 2 times the speed as what the video is presented or produced in. And I've heard that before. I've heard that before from people. And I guess maybe I've done that before too. However, anyway, it's fascinating to me how people process information. And that's why podcasting is really important. So, being an audio version of something or being an audio based kind of medium, there's a lot of important things to remember, such as how media can be transferred. How easy is it for somebody to watch a video or listen to an audio? Well, on that quote sheet that I told you about earlier, the brand new quote sheet that I created, actually just last night, I used Canva. I do use the free version of Canva, and I do like it. I have actually considered, I wonder if there's an affiliate, I wonder if there's like an affiliate link that I can apply for through Canva. I wonder if I can get an affiliate link to Canva to advertise to you. I've been thinking about that. However, I like the NordVPN company right now, so I think I'm gonna stick with them for a while, even though I wanna give you guys some different options, and I'm playing around with how to actually, advertise those links to you so yeah, these are my choices as the podcast and producer and host of the podcast, because I want to tell you that, these are choices that I'm making behind the scenes here. I've actually looked into the company or the service and thought, "Oh, this looks interesting and fun and like a valuable service or a valuable purchase for my listeners." The other thing that I think you should know is, as I try to communicate this through some of the messaging and the text on the deals page and wherever I feel that it's appropriate, is to share with you that, this is actually a way you can directly support the show. So maybe you should know that when you purchase the NordVPN deal, and you have to use the link that I give you, of course, which is on the website. So going to the deals page, dearbusinesscoachpodcast.com/deals, that's how you know you're using the link that actually pays credit to the show. So when you use that link and you buy the service through my deals page, you actually are giving a percentage of your purchase is paid directly to me for the Dear Business Coach podcast show. And the reason why I say it that way is because I'm the individual who owns the partnership account, right? So I'm the influencer, if you will, or the affiliate, and the service that you buy, they gave me that affiliate link. They gave me the right to offer you that deal because I had to apply. So they want to see the website, they want to have my credentials, my name and my website, and whatever they want to do, NordVPN does over there on their end to verify me and verify my website and my audience. And they don't want their name advertised somewhere that they don't feel is appropriate or aligned for their business. So they do a check on me first and then give me the right to advertise that affiliate link to you. So that's why when you see the word affiliate partner, it means that when you buy the deal, you are actually also you're giving dollars directly to the show because NordVPN takes your purchase and turns around and gives me a percentage of it. So that's a partnership that I chose. And I think it's important to tell you these things. After all, during the producer's notes, what I want to do here is try to share with you some of the behind the scenes things. I also think it's interesting for you, hopefully, if you are a podcast person, if you like podcasts or if you are a guest on podcasts, or if you've thought about hosting your own podcast, as so many of us do use this medium, so many people want to know, how do you get paid? How do you make a podcast profitable? How does it contribute to your bottom line? It seems like a lot of work, and I think some of us have these questions that sound like, well, how do I tell where your money comes from? I don't understand how this works. So that's why I like to talk about the advertising. This might be something you are interested in hearing about, and in the behind the scenes type of format like this. Okay, it's 8:47 a.m. Eastern time. So the producer's note segment is a 30-minute segment. I want you to, be able to join here and listen and enjoy your time right now while you're getting ready for your Monday. So if you are at your computer or your tablet and you're creating windows, you're opening windows, you're opening your email box, you're just setting yourself up for the day. So these are things that you might be doing right now. And in the meantime, I hope to be sort of a light listening news program, give you some updates on what's going on over here in the podcast world. So I mentioned earlier Chris Fothrop. And also, now that was last week on Producer's Notes that we talked about the Pinecone Principle episode with Chris. Now, the streaming episode that's on for you now is my episode with Meenakshi Dagra Bansal, and she's actually my social media expert. In fact, she is the person who is in charge of my social media, and so I finally got her onto the podcast. I finally got her into a recording time. And this episode is really cool. She has some she really brought her A game to the interview, and she really brought us some practical, actionable tips right away with regards to our social media publishing to let us know what we can do, what I can do right now to add a little impact and get a little bit of engagement. Okay, let's take a short break. So essentially what I'm sharing with you here is that the episode that's streaming now, let's see, I called this episode what did I call this episode? What is page health? That's right. I called it What is Page Health? And I actually was a little bit concerned about that title because I thought, I don't know, then maybe this is kind of boring. It's not your typical exciting title, but I thought, no, this is good because when we were in the interview, she said this during the interview. She said, here's a good way to check your page health. And I heard what she said, and I made her stop during the interview, and I asked her, Say that again. What did you just say? Did you say page health? Like checking your heart rate or checking your breathing or you're going to the doctor and getting a baseline physical. What's the pulse of your page? What's the health of it? So I almost called this episode Page Pulse. And that could have worked too, but those weren't actually her words. And so when I'm looking at the episode transcript, when I'm working with my AI tool and I'm thinking about titles for the episode, I want to use the verbiage from the quote as best I can. I do want to not make up interpretations around what the guest said or what they meant by their phrasing or vocabulary. That is, after all, part of the design of the show and the social media together. I hope that you as the listener and viewer are seeing that you can get quotes and details about the guests' advice and information from their interviews from me that's not reinterpreted. I don't want to reinterpret. It's really hard not to do that. Even when I go to my AI tool, um, I don't want to get involved in reinterpreting what the guest said or meant in their interview. I just want to provide to you the actual quotes and phrases that they used, and that I think that's the best way to actually share and highlight the guest. That way you get to see the actual content from the expert that's on the show, not me trying to explain to you what I think they said. Okay, one more little break. All right, so that was even important, when we're writing the articles, excuse me, in the magazine. And I take time to share this with you, as it does come up sometimes when people ask me about the magazine, and in my discussion groups as well in my personal life. When I go to my business coaching discussion groups, I often pay attention to how people talk about AI tools and how do we use something like a Chat GPT or a Claude. So I actually right now prefer Claude, and that's another funny thing too, isn't it? Your content can be is directly influenced a little bit just by which one you're using, and I have my preferences, and that's a whole different story, isn't it? Um, And I've listened to some episodes, some podcast episodes around this topic. It's fascinating. When I started using an AI tool, I started doing that because I listened to a, a podcast about podcast production, an episode about podcast production. And this gentleman outlined like 4 or 5 different AI tools. And then he said, we actually use this one for this and that one for that and another one for this other thing. And so that was an aha moment for me that day. One of these things, like when I say for this show, for the Dear Business Coach podcast, I say, listen and find one thing to move your business forward today. That's one of the taglines for the show. And what I mean by that is literally just listen to the interview and see if something that we say, something that happens in the conversation between the guest and myself, did something that we said teach you a new word? Did something that we said give you an idea? Did something that we said uh, just change your mood on a topic or a frame of reference so that you can maybe just change the trajectory of your day. That's a lot of what podcast listening is for me when I'm listening. Sometimes I'm learning, sometimes I'm looking to learn about a specific topic, but not really. The majority of the podcasts that I listen to personally in my life are entertainment podcasts and comedy podcasts and dating and love life podcasts. And I do tend to prefer content produced by comedians. Some of my favorite shows that I listen to every week, almost without fail, are produced and hosted by comedians talking about life stuff. And the reason why I share this with you today here, my live Substackers, is that part of why the podcast interview episodes are kind of loosely structured is I am looking to find this kind of balance where you are learning a little bit about something business related. After all, the executives, the coaches, and the experts that are on the podcast obviously have lots of valuable information. However, listening and maybe picking up a personal story or picking up someone's tone of voice or picking up someone's thought process behind the vocabulary they're using. It gives you a different layer to get to know these people. The other thing about listening to someone in an interview is, of course, and this I guess goes without saying, but there's a natural leadership quality to a person who comes on a business coach podcast. However, that doesn't mean that you have to have a certain title or a certain academic degree in order to have a leadership position that's worth listening to. So that's also a big deal about getting the details from the the interviews that you're listening to. For example, the quotes on the top 5 quote sheet. These are folks that you might bump into directly in your network on LinkedIn, for example, or here on Substack or somewhere on a Google page. And you might say, "Oh, that person had a interview that was published and I just read about a quote from their interview." So it almost gives you access to this person in a way that at first, it might be somebody that you see as someone with a leadership position who is giving advice and or perspective in an interview. And however, you will learn more about their background and their personal interests just by being able to connect with them here and on social, because they are someone who is out here networking just like you and I are. So that's another thing too, is a lot of the guests on the episodes, these are folks that are very accessible to you. And I have yet to have a guest on the show who is not taking emails or is not taking connection requests, right? These folks are here because they want to connect with you. So I'd like to figure out how to create maybe a little bit more of the sense of that closeness. So one of the things that you can look for in your email is, how do I get in touch with that person? So each person that comes on the show, I do get their contact information and provide that to you during the show. And what hopefully is easy for you is to grab that information from your email when that goes out each week. So I try to make things as easy as possible for you to give you those resources. And that's another reason why I say free resources. All right. Well, we are at the top of the hour. Is that how you say it? It's 8:59 a.m. Eastern Time. Hey, Brianna. Welcome, welcome. And you know what? I think that today we've covered quite a bit as far as what's going on with how a podcast can earn income. Who are these affiliate links and who are these affiliate partners? What does that mean and why are they there? So I hope that was insightful. So we look out right now for the episode with Meenakshi Dagra. That episode is actually called "What is Page Health?" Social media expert Meenakshi Dagra. And then next week, I might be having her joining me for the live so that she can play producer's assistant during the live. And I want to see how that might turn out. How does that make it sound different, better, and make a different experience for you? So thank you. Remember, I hope you have a fantastic day and you are a superstar.